for the 4th time the pitching sessions here at the Startup Nights. And I can tell you, the last 3 years, the quality of the pitches have increased tremendously. It was just compelling, and I have really, really high expectations on what we will hear this year. We had some changes going on from last year. Last year, we divided the pitching sessions for startups who were pitching for the pre-seed round and startup who was pitching for the seed round. But we had like 150 applications this year, so we changed up the system a little bit. So we decided to put them into categories and let them pitch in their respective category, like deep tech, health tech, and impact tech. And today we are going to start with the deep tech category powered by ABB. And for today, the 3rd place will win 2,000 francs. The 2nd place will win 3,000 francs, and the winner 5,000 francs. But there is another specialty this year. The winners of the respective categories get to pitch again tomorrow, so they will also compete against each other. But it's not only a competition. There might be some investors sitting here in the audience who might be interested to invest in the next upcoming startup. And by the way, there is also a fundraising going on. At the moment, we cannot see the QR code, but you will see it later. It is sponsored by the company called Leva, which is helping raising money for startups via QR code. So pay attention later when you see them. We will hear in the deep tech category 6 pitches, and a jury will decide on whether they did good or not. I believe they will all do good, but who will be the winner? So let me introduce you to the jury for the deep tech category. First up, we have Teddy Amberg. Round of applause, please. Then Benjamin Kleinschnitz, Craig Cooper, Gregory Hitz, and Susanne Buck. Welcome to the stage. So and here is how the competition works. Every startup gets 3 minutes for their pitches. After the 3 minutes, there will be a round of Q&A session, questions asked by the jury for another 3 minutes. After we heard all 6 pitches, the jury will consolidate their results. The winner will not be announced after the pitching sessions, but later tonight, and you will know who wins tomorrow in the grand finale. So without further ado, I'll ask the first startup to come on stage. It is Luigi Matrone presenting Smarter Chains. Good luck.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yes? All right, so Alicia said, let's think big. How about creating a new software category? Smarter Chains is the manufacturing value intelligence layer to drive clarity, alignment, and decision speed from headquarters to factories. Meet John. John is our client, VP Manufacturing at a big multinational company. John is managing complexity. He has pressure from his board to deliver margin improvement, cut costs, cut people, and drive automation in his factories. Now, John's problem is not data. He has plenty. John's problem is decision speed. Now, John's factories are drowning in pilots of Industry 4.0. Robots, AI, IoT, sensors, you name it. Everybody's focused on the factory. But John has the money, and John has a problem. He's dealing with endless tools to make decisions today. He doesn't have a single source of truth to understand where value is created and lost in his factories. Alignment takes him endless meetings with the factories, and every factory has a different story to tell. And so John is not deciding, is slow, and is not meeting his KPIs. So enter Smarter Chains, the manufacturing value intelligence layer for John. We sit above current systems, take data from them, take data from people, and drive through Value Finder clarity for John by creating a digital, operational, and finance twin. John now has one source of truth to see where value is created across his factory network. With Value Builder, John has a CFO in his pocket. He can build business cases to understand which initiative builds the most value across the entire factory network. One system to understand where to invest his money and to scale from pilot to total enterprise to meet his KPIs. We are 3 founders, all coming from Procter & Gamble, but also seasoned entrepreneurs driving digital transformation for more than 20 years. We have a fantastic, stellar board of advisors with former and current C-level executives that are helping us to enter into multinational companies and driving thought leadership. We are in the market since 1 year, 1 big enterprise client already under our pocket, multiple pilots underway, and we are currently raising a 1 million seed round to drive sales and product team development. Thank you very much. Join us as we build a new software category.
Thank you very much, Luigi. Almost on point.
Almost.
So we are opening up the questions. Shuri, please, who is the first with a question?
Well done, Luigi. I like your energy. Thanks for the presentation. You're operating in a very complex environment, and now on top of that, clients need another software. How do you pitch your return of investment to your clients? Is it time or money?
Both. We are saving them time because today they are wasting endless time in meetings, decisions are delayed, and mostly the pilots are stuck in what we call pilot purgatory, so they don't move from factories to total enterprise network, and they're not capitalizing on the returns.
For how long do you think they will use your tool? On a yearly basis or just on a project basis?
No, this is a continuous improvement tool, so they use the tool every quarter to update the status of the initiatives and the value generated from what they have already implemented, see progress, and decide where to invest to scale. We're also connecting with existing and new vendors through Value Builder, where we have a vendor marketplace, so they can do vendor discovery from their current vendor database and new vendors which we constantly research.
What's your plan to move from the pilots you mentioned to ensure successful rollout across entire enterprise?
So this is a change management, right? Because they don't have it today, we need to drive change management at total enterprise. To drive change management, we come from digital transformation. We are providing our clients with playbooks and templates to do the change management in their companies. We also have channel partners, network consultants that can support our clients in that process of transformation.
Maybe related on a technical level, how do you make sure many companies have a completely custom set of tools, which is different in every company? How do you make sure that they can actually efficiently start using your...
The most important tool for us to fetch data is actually SAP, the ERP of SAP. That's where we get financial data and the structure of the operations. The rest can come slowly. As I said, we also get data from people in the shop floor. There is tremendous institutional knowledge that is in people's minds in the factories. So we want to capture that, and then we can integrate more APIs with more systems.
What are the key milestones you want to reach with that round that you mentioned?
We need to get to 3 million ARR, 5-6 enterprise clients to open the Series A next year and expand to European and US markets are our 2 priorities.
There is time for one more question.
How do you work with consultants who would do similar tasks? Can they be your partners, or are they more your competitors?
No, we see them as partners. We already have some that are channel partners, from Ernst & Young, which was with us very early in the journey, to smaller niche consulting companies, for example, in Mexico, where I'm not going to open an office at the moment, but they can capture their market over there.
Very good. Thank you so much for opening the floor. Big round of applause. So I know it's hard to be the first one to pitch, but I think Luigi did a really, really good job. The next one up, or the next lady up, is Cinzia Bonetta. She will represent MyQ. Warm welcome and a big round of applause for Cinzia.
The question isn't either or. human or AI, data or experience. The real question is, how do we combine the power of both to create more value? Because the future isn't human or AI. It's what happens when both think together to get results they could never get alone. Hi, I'm Cinzia, founder and CEO of MyQ. MyQ is an intelligent testing hub that combines the power of human and artificial intelligence. With our platform, teams can test, learn, and manage all their product testing in one place, from UX to code. Doing proper testing means better products, more success. But the testing landscape is overwhelming. Too many tools, scattered data, and no clean workflow. But we don't have time and money struggling with over 10 different tools, and in the end, grab all the data manual to get relevant insights. So what happens? Many skip testing or test just internal with the risk of failure. We take the pain out of this process with one intelligent testing hub, from idea to launch. Whether it's a design, an app, or a platform, teams can test all the relevant testings in one platform. So we have one single workflow where you can test, learn from results, and manage every iteration in one place. With MyQ, teams test up to 80% faster and cut costs by more than 70% compared to disconnected tools and traditional methods. So no data chaos, no manual analysis, and no tool switching anymore. My co-founder Sandro and I built MyQ from scratch. Now, 2 years later, we are an intelligent beta platform backed by strong investors, a team of 8, and strong partners like Testing Time. With Testing Time, we integrate directly in our platform access to over 1 million testers across Europe. We convinced this year at Höhle der Löwen 2 Lions and gained strong market interest across industries. MyQ is a B2B SaaS license model per seat, and we are currently pre-launching our beta model. We planned our go live in the beginning of 2026 directly in the EMEAs. To accelerate our product development and push the market entry, we are currently closing our pre-seed round about 500,000 Swiss francs. So, question for you. Are you ready to make testing your unfair advantage? Happy to welcome you on board. Thank you.
We are absolutely ready. Thank you so much, Cinzia. Can you please come here, because it's hard to hear the questions from the jury from far away. So please, jury, you have 3 minutes time to ask your questions.
Maybe I start, how do you ensure that you get the respective test users on your platform?
You mean the B2B who make the testings, or the testers?
The testers.
We integrate Testing Time. Testing Time specialize on recruiting of testers. So we can integrate via API directly 1 million testers in our platform, so it's much easier for our customers.
So I think you highlighted some different customer segments that you'll be targeting. How do you tailor the features of the platform, and how do you structure it such that you can address probably a diverse range of needs across those groups?
So
how do you address the different needs of these diverse customer groups?
Yeah, the different customers. It was about research. We talked with a lot, and they came to us. So we thought, we see that they have all the same problem with struggling with the different testing tools, or they're doing manual. So it's one platform, and you can choose how you want to make the relevant tests. So it's easy, it's iterative, and yeah, that's why we see where the problem is, agencies and so on.
And what are the features you're going to start with at the launch, and what does your roadmap look like?
Yeah. Our beta model has currently user testing, you have tasks, bug hunting, you have AI-based design testings, you have automated Verbesserungsvorschläge, and you have survey, and you have the management. So it's a lot in the beta platform already, and the next tools, integration and developments are already planned. So it's an automated, holistic AI testing, and it's as well testing where you can make automated regression testings, end-to-end testings, etc. Yeah.
Maybe I want to turn to the audience. It is a bit hard here to hear the questions, to be honest. That's why we are standing here.
Yeah,
is there another question from the jury?
I would have another question regarding sort of what is your ideal customers? Because many customers already have some testing, so do you integrate with that, or do you suggest them to replace what they already have with your solution? How does that work?
Yeah. We started with digital agencies and UX UI designers because these are the low-hanging fruits because they know already you need to test. But they're still struggling with isolated tools because you have a tool for this, you have a tool for that. And then more and more came like startups as well. It's a huge, it's really important to make relevant testings. And so it's, it's growing.
There's some scrutiny sometimes about AI doing the wrong thing or AI hallucinating. What measures do you have in place to ensure the accuracy of your tests?
That's the reason why we have the combination of human and AI. Because AI is good for making things faster and intelligent, but on the other hand, you need the user or your target group who validate the solution and what you developed, etc. And this is how AI makes the pre-analysis and the user in the market. Yeah, it's validating.
Very good. Thank you very much, Cinzia, for presenting. Mike,
thank you as well.
Goodbye. So you can imagine that you are already a little bit nervous and presenting your pitch here, and then you realize you don't really hear the questions from the jury. So my apologies. So for the next ones up, I'll give you some hint. Go to the jury so you can really hear their questions, but face the audience if possible. So the third startup up is Light Link, presented by AJ. Please, AJ, come up to the stage. Big round of applause for AJ.
Hi everyone, my name is AJ. I'm one of the two co-founders of Lightlink Instruments, and we are building a breakthrough camera system for display color measurement and microscopy. It's called a hyperspectral camera. I'm sure each of you has at least 2 displays with you. And globally, there are more than 8 billion displays based on different technologies. And all these technologies needs to be accurately calibrated because when you take a picture, you expect it to be exactly like the real world in the camera. And some of the problems the display manufacturers encounter is the color non-uniformity and accuracy, and we help the manufacturers resolve this problem. And the current camera system in the market have a very narrow viewing area. So if you want to measure the entire display, you have to move the camera across the display. And this is inefficient, time-consuming, and also expensive. And we have designed a new camera system that requires no scanning at all. It has an integrated scanner, and we applied for an international patent at the moment. And our potential customers include some of the biggest names you know, and we are in touch with almost all of them, and they are waiting for the pilot device that we are currently building, and we are planning demos in the next months. And the main customer benefit is the versatility, because imagine one device which is able to measure a lot of different display technologies, sizes, and shapes, even the AR, VR goggles. And thereby the customer saves a lot of money, and it's going to be the most accurate device in the market. And the hyperspectral camera market is $22 billion big because it's a very emerging market with over 15% growth rate in the next 10 years. And we have to capture as much as possible. Our main competition comes from the US and also from Europe, but our unique scanning technology combined with precision optics from Switzerland really sets us apart. There are a few other solutions in the market as well, but none match up to our technology. And we have already built a prototype, which we're exhibiting at the moment. Please come and have a look. And we are currently racing to build a pilot device, which our pilot customers are expecting. And we plan to enter the market at the end of 2026. And so far, we have raised more than 300,000 francs. And the next pre-seed round, we are raising 1 million. We sell the camera, the software, and the mandatory yearly calibration services. The camera is expected to cost around 80 to 110,000 francs per unit. I think we have a fantastic team, myself and Claudio. We have more than 25 years of combined experience in business development, product development, software engineering, and also automation. And we have been to some of the elite universities in Europe and built up a fantastic network, which comes in handy when you're looking for customers. And our advisory board consists of both people from industry and also from the academia, which really expands our network. And we are being supported by many Swiss networks and also the organizations which are really known for fostering innovation-based startups. Thank you.
Thank you, AJ. Please come to me. Stand as close as possible to the jury, and please face the audience so they get to see your answers as well. Please, jury, loud and clear, your questions, please.
Can you talk a bit about how the integration works? Also, they probably have different cameras that you showed as well already set up. How long does it take? How easy is it to replace it without changing the setup?
You mean for the customers? So it's a lab device. The good thing is most of the systems they have on their shelves. They take it out when they want it. So ours would be one other system in the shelf, but this time, hopefully, they don't have to change because it can be used for different technologies, different sizes of displays, and geometries as well.
So the integration part that you mentioned next to the hardware and software is not a lot because basically...
So it's plug and play.
Yeah, okay.
It's plug and play, yes.
Can you talk a little bit more about your go-to-market plan and how you intend to build initial traction and scale?
Yes.
Small team at the moment, how does that look?
So there are two markets which we aim to enter. One is the display color measurement market and the microscopy market. And the first market is mostly in Germany because most of the display developers like Apple, Samsung, Sony, they have their labs in Germany. And many of my former colleagues are working there, so that comes in handy. And we already in talks with them. So they like to test the pilot device in their labs. And the microscopy, as you know, two big names, Leica, Zeiss, and also a couple of US companies, which we're in touch with, and they like to buy the pilot device. But first we have to build it, because the one we have, which we're exhibiting, is not something you can sell. It will get damaged during the transportation.
I'll be curious about the time saving you said. You said you have a 3x cost save without having to scan.
Yes.
How does that relate to the entire quality assurance process for a display?
So because it's configurable, and it's like a normal photo lens, you can adjust to different distances and calibrate it for different distances as well. And because it can be used for all display technologies, and you don't have to buy different devices in one facility, for example. Because usually, the next iPhone comes in 2 years. If it's based on different technology, they would have to buy different devices. And here they don't have to. When we have a local calibration lab, it can be reconfigured with minimum cost. For example, 10,000 per device, then you have a brand new device for your new production line.
We have time for another question.
I'll do a general one because it's a typical one for deep tech. You said you have competition from the US and from Europe, which means essentially there seems to be a lot going on already.
Yes, indeed.
And yet you come here and say, hey, we are better.
Yep.
That's why you do it, and I believe you, I trust your team, but that's going to be the typical challenge. You will have competitors that are incumbents, lots of budgets, you will have startups that are better funded. Like, how do you want to work from that? It's not just the go-to-market, but in terms of funding, how can you tangibly demonstrate that you're better? Because I think that's going to be a key requirement for your team.
The answer is the customer traction, because if you show customer traction, the technology you build excites the customer, the money comes. Because otherwise, you have no chance in deep tech because you need huge investment. For example, I'm not allowed to name the big company. The company that has the most money in the bank account are interested. So that's a good indication, and they are in Germany. And they are the sort of customers, they like to first test the device. Give it to me, I'm going to test it for weeks. Let's say, if you meet the specifications, then I buy it. Money is not the problem for them.
Yes. Very good. Thank you. Sorry for interrupting, but time is up. Big round of applause for AJ and for Lightlink. I hear some woos here. Thank you so much. So we are halfway through already. How about you? I want to hear an applause for everyone that is working in a startup currently. Who is in a startup? Who is an investor here, or maybe looking for an investment? Or raise your hands. There are some. And who is just curious how the colleagues are doing? There we go. So that's my point. What all this startup needs is a lot of support. Support not only money-wise, but also when it comes to experience, when it comes to their social surroundings, when it comes to energy. And I really want to stress this here. If you know people who are working in a startup and going on this adventure, this takes a lot of courage. So keep on supporting them. Thank you very much for this. Next up, we have Martino Ciudi. He is also on this journey, and he is representing Vision. Big round of applause.
Thank you. So yeah, I'll imagine most of you live or have lived in an apartment, maybe an older one, or maybe a new one, freshly built. But I'm pretty sure most of you faced one of these issues. Too cold, too hot, too expensive, too dark, too small. How is it that in 2025, we're still building apartments that are not up to the standards? To answer that, I'll start from the beginning, looking at the stages of how a building is planned. Everything starts from a concept that then goes into design and planning, finally in the construction, and then in the user stage where you and I live in it. Now, looking at where the most important decision needs to be taken, where the decision taken have the biggest impact on the user stage, we clearly see that's during planning and design. Sadly, in today's world, with today's tool, it's almost impossible to optimize something during that stage. Why is it? Why is it that we're not optimizing in the most important stage? And the reason is data. Very complex data, not standardized, hard to analyze, and incredibly hard to compare. That's exactly the reason why we founded Vision. And after over 3 years of development, we have finally closed the gap. Vision is a B2B SaaS platform for project developers to optimize buildings and make sure that every construction project reaches its full potential. The process is quite simple. You upload your 3D model directly in the browser. Then the DMP does the magic, standardize, cleans, enrich the model, and make sure that you can access automated analysis in a matter of minutes, giving you access to an optimizer that makes sure that you always reach the optimum for each construction project. Our main USP is the increased margins that are usually used to increase the quality of the project, low CO2, higher comfort, lower rents. Since our market entry in September 2024, we already managed to win over 50 customers. And now we are expanding towards Germany and 4 other countries in the next 18 months. This wouldn't surely be possible without a strong, cohesive team and support by a lot of expertise in our board of directors, advisory board, and coaches. To summarize a little bit, we're operating in a very big market. And in that short time, we already managed to reach over 150,000 ARR. We're now moving towards the end of our seed round, closing the round, which will be led by 2 well-known VCs. We would still love to make some place for a few business angels that, as we do, believe in a better construction industry and would love to join us on this incredible journey. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Martin, for presenting. There is always some space for some business angels, I guess. Come here so you really hear the questions from the jury, and please face the audience a little bit. Your questions, please.
Hey, thanks for the presentation, good energy. So I'm sorry to start with a critical question, but your entry was almost too good to be true. You said, that the biggest impact you have in this planning phase, but nobody does it. So the industry, your customers don't do it, and now you come and say, I have a solution for something you don't do. How can you pitch the actual return on investment for the customer in an area that they may be neglecting at the moment, as it sounds?
Sure, it's quite simple actually, because project developers start, as I mentioned before, from concept stages. And in those phases, there's a lot of optimization happening. You're testing option, testing variant, testing way of building something. And then at some point, it suddenly stops. So being able to offer a solution to do exactly that for a longer time, giving the even better results than what they're already seeing in those early stages, because the impact is way bigger, that's a quite simple selling point. And what they mainly are interested about is a simple process that they can do in a matter of minutes and make sure that each time they get a project, in minutes they can know what the best solution is for every question they have.
Okay. So the reason they don't do it is because they don't have anything like what you offer?
Yeah, exactly. Right now it's incredibly hard and expensive from time and money-wise to do such an optimization in those stages. And what we are doing through technology is simplifying the access to those analysis tools.
You already have quite a lot of success in Switzerland. Can you tell something about the penetration rate in Switzerland and what the next step would be to scale?
So about scaling in Switzerland in general? Yeah, we started September last year with the first customers. From day one, we really focus on getting into big projects, because at the end, the bigger the project, the bigger the pain, and the harder it gets to optimize something like that. Since we are leveraging technology, it doesn't really matter for us the size of the project, since it's an automated process. And so we focus on really getting on prestige projects, large projects around Switzerland. This put our brand on newspapers, on all those projects that were optimized, and helped us 1 year later now get into also the smaller project developers pretty quickly. And now the goal exactly is to expand towards Germany with a similar approach. Since we're focusing on data, there's not a big difference in the data needed in European countries.
So on that note, what's the biggest challenge you see in now scaling into, I think you said 5 other markets?
Yeah.
Over the next 12, 18 months? How does that look? How do you overcome those challenges?
There's going to be many operational challenges from a culture-wise. The next step would be the easiest one, since a big part of our customers today operate in Germany as well. So we'll go to Germany with a bunch of customers with us. So that's going to be easier. And then moving toward the Nordics is a very well digitalized countries. So advantages of disadvantages of that, there's a lot of 3D models and technology in the construction industry, which will help us get closer to customer, and we won't need to convince them about how better you can plan using digital tools.
Thank you very much. Time is up. I guess there are some more questions, but thank you for your presentation.
Thank you very much.
Martin. So, we have 4 pitches through. Are you ready to hear some more, or are you done already? Are you ready to hear more? We need some more energy in here. I feel like you have to see those other pitches, because I'm really impressed by the pitches so far, and I see the next one is already in line. We hear next up Aurel Ne from Catera. Big round of applause and good luck.
Hi, I'm Aurel from Catera, and we build autonomous laser weeding robots. Full autonomy, no herbicides, and working day and night. We are a spin-off of ETH Zurich with 13 FTEs, mainly in engineering and software development. And alone in this season, we had over 3,000 hours of autonomous operation in customer fields. But what is the problem we actually solve? In organic farming, the biggest cost driver is hand weeding, manual labor. And it's very hard to find people who want to do this. And we actually solved this with lasers. So we have a camera detecting the weeds, targeting the laser, and removing weeds that are growing 1 millimeter next to the crop. We do this with robots. One robot is doing the work of 5 people, but it is not taking a break on the weekend. It's not taking a break in the night. It's always working, fully electrical. We have 2 models, the Grasshopper, which launched this year, which we rented out, and the larger Honeybee, which will launch next March. On the map, you can see the customer interest, which we attracted over the year. And this year we had a pilot phase with 10 robots active from Geneva up to Bodensee. Next year, 9 honeybees will join the fleet. Half of them will go abroad. On the left, you can see the market size, but this is just vegetables. We can also go into flowers, herbs, and also fruits. On the right, you can see our customers today. There are small customers, big customers. This is a unique advantage we have compared to tractor-pulled solutions who can only serve large customers. We start with renting, annual renting of the robots, so that we can build trust and prove the performance of our robots in the field. In the long run, we will sell the robots because this is the industry standard, and it also helps our cash flow. On the right, you can see our existing partners and distributors who we'll use to expand into the European market. Currently, we're doing a seed round of 5 million, half of it now for honeybee deployment and expansion into Europe, half of it next autumn, where we will build 40 new robots, which we have to finance for scaling. Thank you very much for your attention. I'm open to your questions.
Thank you very much, Abel. Please come to me. Also for you, it's kind of hard to hear the jury, so please speak up loud and clear. It's your round of questions. Who wants to start?
Given the price, you will target bigger farmers. Can you elaborate a bit more on your go-to-market strategy, who you are going to approach, and how you are going to approach them?
So actually, we're targeting medium-sized farmers, so with costs, yearly annual costs from 500,000 to 5 million hand weeding costs. Large farmers have much bigger budgets. We go to fairs, organic fairs, directly going to the customer. And we already did 5 this year, and the interest is quite high.
Can you talk a little bit more about the technology, the ability to distinguish between weeds and crops, how successfully this is done, and how you achieve this?
So everything is based on deep learning. We have now 6 working crops. This means we remove 70 to 95% of the weeds, which we can see. And the earlier we go in, so let's say they only have 2 weeds and they're like 3 millimeters large, the harder it is, the larger they become, the easier it gets. In the long run, we will offer more than 40 crops. We're continuously collecting data while weeding. So already now we have over 2 million images, which we continuously select and then annotate.
Maybe related to the technology, I'm curious, what adds more value to your customers? The fact that they don't need to manually weed, that they can do it with a laser, or the fact that the vehicle does it completely autonomously?
So at the beginning, it's laser, clearly. And this is also our competition, large tractor pulled machines costing 1.5 million Swiss francs. But you need 3 drivers operating it 24 hours a day, and still it's not economically viable. But they don't want people anymore, so it works. And now adding the autonomy is just a perfect solution. It's just much harder than just using a tractor.
How do you deal with seasonality, and how do you sell to your customer? Is it that you ship from Switzerland to Australia depending on season, or do you have something like a weeding as a service offer where they don't buy the robot but pay you per use?
So we started with that, with the pay per use, but in the long run for us it's too much work. Like, it's so weather dependent. If it's raining, the farmer still wants to use the robot when it's dry again, but the next farmer is already waiting. So what we do is we work with existing weeding services. You can call them and they bring you 20 weeders, and instead of 20 humans, you get 2 robots. And so this is who we partner up with. But from a business perspective, yearly rental or selling is always better than renting for 1 week.
Very good. Thank you so much. Time is up for the questions. Good luck, Aurel. And now we are already coming to the last pitch out of the Deep Tech competition powered by ABB. And the last one is Friederike Biffa. Friederike Biffa. She is representing Aethon Robotics. Big round of applause for Friederike. Good luck.
Good afternoon. What do you think is the most dangerous thing that construction workers are exposed to? It is not the heavy machinery, it is not the power tools that they use, or air pollution. It is simply being exposed to work at height. 40% of occupational fatalities are due to people falling from height. That means people working on scaffold, on lifting trucks. I think we all have seen that. My name is Friederike Biffa, and we at Aethon Robotics tackle exactly that issue. Why is it such a pressing issue? Well, these days we need more and more people performing such work at height, simply because our assets are aging, they have higher loads and more extreme weather conditions. So to ensure safety of our bridges, we need more people to go up there and check them. We at Ithon Robotics have developed a drone that takes over exactly these inspection and maintenance tasks. If you think of the capabilities that our drone brings with it, do not think of capabilities that drone have right now, but think of what those human workers can do. What type of tools do they carry? How heavy are those tools? And what type of force do they require? We enable this by having our drone decouple flight from interaction. It uses flight to reach the location that it wants to go to, and then it attaches itself securely. This enables us to do very powerful and precise work, basically anything that is needed to inspect an asset. But that's not where we stop. In the future, we will revolutionize the way how work at height is done. But let me take you on a short journey how we do it right now. So this is a bridge in Slovenia connecting the airport with the city center. Here we were supposed to install a structural health monitoring sensor. Normally you would have needed to close down a lane, which would have caused a lot of traffic and cost over 10,000 francs per day. With our drone, the pilot could simply mount the tool, which is a sensor installation tool in this case, fly to the desired location, attach the drone securely, place the sensor as required, wait until the glue hardens out, and then simply lands back down without having any human up in the air being exposed to that dangerous work. And at the same time, it's way more cost efficient and faster. So if you want to join us on our journey, feel free to talk to me afterwards. I'll be standing over there, and now I'm very happy to take the questions of the jury.
Thank you, Friederike. Please come to me, also for you. Go close to the jury so you can hear the questions. So now, jury, your 3 minutes of questioning, Friederike.
Cool. Congrats for the presentation. There's so many drones. It's cool to see someone who's a bit different, you know, with attaching some physical component to it. But that's my question. That's now a sensor that we've seen in other drones. What is sort of the payload, or could you put drilling machines to it, or what's the vision of what you actually do besides sensors?
Of course. You can mount anything which weighs less than 5 kilos and requires less than 500 newtons of force. So I myself weigh 65 kilos, which is an equivalent of 650 newtons of force that I put to the ground. So now that you get a feeling how much 500 newtons is. So it's from core drilling, which is a very important task, over drilling, anchoring. So if you want, you could use this drone to hang a mirror at home, but it's not that practical.
Can you talk a bit about how you distribute your product? Who are your end customers in the end, and what sort of model do you use for that?
At the moment and for the next few years, we will offer the service. So that means we will be flying the drone to ensure customer success. But of course, in the long run, our goal is to have the drone as autonomous as possible so that anybody could use it. So we're hoping to skip inspection companies and go directly to the asset owners so that they can intervene with asset problems when and wherever it's needed.
So can you build on that and go deeper into business model and how that looks in the short term, and then with the evolution? Your business model, so related to that, but how does your business model?
Yes, at the moment the business model is that we ourselves are going to inspection specialists and also asset owners and offer the service directly. So that means, for example, if you do a regular bridge inspection and you need certain core drills to be extracted, you will come to us. We'll extract those core drills and have certified partner laboratories. With that, we can then analyze the core and we'll hand over the result. Because in the end, the guy hiring us does not want to have a core, does not want to have the drone. He simply wants to have the results and know how his asset is doing.
I was thinking about your competitive landscape. I can think of one or the other company that does similar things, and maybe you can tell us how you stand out.
Okay, so the elephant in the room often is Voliro. But they are, in our eyes, not even the competition. The actual competition is the human on a scaffold. Okay. Since Voliro's maximum force that they can apply is about 30 newtons, they focus on a completely different type of tasks. So I would say Voliro first, then us, and if it doesn't help, we'll still have to send a human up there.
Okay.
Time for one quick question.
When do you plan to be break-even with your plan?
So with Deep Tech, it's not that we are break-even in 2 years. So our current calculation is facing breaking even towards 2029.
One quick question. We still have a little bit of time. Or are all questions answered?
Well, if there are questions left, I'll be standing at this food thingy on the left. So feel free to reach out.
So we'll find you at the food thing. Thank you so much, Friederike. So this was it. This was it for the first pitching competition of Deep Tech powered by ABB. Thank you so much for the jury for being here. So they will now consolidate and decide which are the 3 winners of today. We will not find out immediately now, but tomorrow you will know who is the winner, because the winner gets the chance to pitch once again tomorrow. So thank you very much for the jury.